Morning, everybody, and welcome to this in the Morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Continuing on in Pashas Chayei Sarah, with the sixth Chelek Aleph. We're discussing the question of who should we be listening to, Sarah or Avram, the neshama, the body, or the soul. And we started to discuss this whole vart of Hashem Tov that when you see Shiur Seinecha. When we see a donkey, which we explained the deeper meaning of it, when you see a person, or you see your chumrius, your gashmius, physicality, you see physical world, and you see the physical needs and desires that you have, and you don't like it because it takes you away from godliness. And see what do you want to do? And it's revetzach masay and davening and doing Torah mitzvahs and davening and learning and doing Jewish and being Jewish and Judaism is difficult. You want to say, the neshama wants to say, I don't want to deal with this. Like, let me out of here. I don't want to have to do with this. So we answer him. So the Hashem is answering, Azev, you have to go help him. Don't leave it. Most of the mitzvahs are with the body. You have to realize, I said yesterday about like the famous Maimer, the Rebbe, on the first Sfartim Lochem, famous Maimer, and he says over there that the nefesh kiss is cold and calm, and nefesh Bahamis is wild. But the vart is when you take that wildness and you control it, you can create much more. Like the vart, we say a lot of plowing is with the power of the ox, meaning if you would go to plow, or so to speak, the natural kiss would go to plow, or like a person. If I would go to plow a field, I would manage maybe one field, maybe once. But an ox has so much power to it. It's an ox, and you have to yoke, and you have to take charge of it, and you have to really control it. But once you have that yoke on it, once you get it working for you, it goes. And that's what the nefesh Bahamis. It says in the Maimon, if the Adi doesn't want to, or he wants to with the takeoff, with the strength, and he goes wild. And it's in a positive way that he can really, he doesn't need to sleep, doesn't need to eat, just keeps on going. And that's sort of what we're talking about. To get the nefesh Bahamis involved. Yeah. So Adam, so in the middle of Ois Daled, Adam, Shekav, Machshavte, Kol HaKavana is the mitzvahs. We said we're talking about the story of the Tzedek that one of the grandkids meant to have a bris, and they asked him who should we choose. There was two options. One guy was a big bucky and all the kavanas of the bris, and another guy when he was older. Another guy was young. He wasn't bucky. He didn't have kavanas. He didn't have any knowledge of all the kavanas. He had very minimum, but he was very good at doing a bris. So they said get the young guy, and he explained. He goes because you need to physically do a bris. Meaning. It's not to, don't mistake and have the mistaken thought that I don't have kavanah. The action is important. It's true, you have to have action, but you also have to have kavanah. He wasn't saying the guy's kavanah is worthless. He's just saying ultimately a bris is a physical act, that has to be done. And if someone knows how to do that better, we got to do that. It's not that the person should have kavanah and kavanah is not important. It's just ultimately what's important. It's like the story we said about the putting on film or lighting Shabbos candles. If you have all the kavanas in the world, you don't actually light the candles, you didn't achieve anything. That's what we're saying. And this is what it means. Everything that Sarah tells you, you should listen to. We asked in the beginning, Sarah represents from the Zayah, the Sarah represents the body, and Avram the neshama. Why are we saying that the neshama should listen to the body? Now we're going to explain that. Sarah remez laguf, like it says, according to the Zayah, that Sarah is the body. Because the main point, funnily enough, is the body. But now it's concealed. The last love, when Mashiach comes, when the concealment goes away, and all that we don't get to see the reality will change, and we'll be able to see the reality. And in the reality, the guf, then the Sarah is more important. Yeah, v'ata davar helav as lava etavod mailas aguf lidei giluim v'mida kazush and Hashem tekabel As chayus from the guf, to the extent that the neshama will get its chayus from the body, which is wild. Elo shehat het inon HaKadosh Baruch Hu la'avos behelim, but Hashem put in to the forefathers in a concealed way Olam hazeh me'ed olam haba, something similar to olam haba. What's going to be like when Mashiach comes? That's why Hashem said to Avram, everything that she says to you, you should listen to him. Meaning, now when we look around, we look at the body as the problem, and the neshama is the solution. When Mashiach comes, the body won't be a problem; it'll be part of the solution. Not even more, that it'll be able to achieve more. It's like it says, better 1 hour of tshuva and good deeds in this world than the whole world to come. Meaning, how special it is with the body doing a mitzvah is in the Shiur we can't even imagine. And this is sort of a nice simple hisbonenus that we have to realize that when we do any mitzvah, say a bracha, we say Shema, a kid say a bracha, you say Meida'ani, wash your hands, nagavasa. We go to learn a little bit. We get some tzedakah. Every little mitzvah that we might think ourselves is little, it's not little at all. And we just got to sort of have that meditation, that is bonus. And like we said before, that we're meant to have Avos Hashem and Yus Hashem, we should feel it. It should affect us too. We actually feel it. And the way we do that, not by just doing more mitzvahs, but thinking about what we're doing. So when I give tzedakah, I'm not just giving tzedakah. It says in the letter that when you give tzedakah, that your hand becomes connected with Atzmos, Hashem's essence. And you're drawing down Ein Sof. When we have some self-control, some iskafia, what we achieve is the level of cervical almond being brought into this world, the level of godliness is way above and beyond our capabilities in this world. And what we're saying is when we realize this and all these mitzvahs that we can do, the mitzvahs become like this opportunity to do. I can, such a simple thing, I give some tzedakah, and this is what I'm achieving. I make a bracha, this is what I'm achieving. I'm eating for the right reasons, what I'm achieving. I'm going to bed on time, this is what I'm achieving. I'm saying Shema, and this is what I'm achieving. And realizing that, so then everything becomes a lot more enjoyable, a lot more, and excitement, and the felt that you have is much deeper. And essentially, what we're saying is that this is essentially how it is. The problem is, the challenge is that we don't live in Geula times. We don't sense this. We don't feel this. We don't recognize this as well as we would like to. But the others were already made that time, and that's why Hashem says to Avram, listen to Sarah. Meaning in the sense of, not in the sense of Avram and Sarah, in the sense of the neshama and the guf. That even by Avram, he should be already listening to his guf. Which for us, we would say, if I listen to my body, it's not a good idea. What we're saying is, we have to realize that the body is not as bad as you think. It has potential for greatness. And I think it's a question, I think this maybe you could even say it's for ourselves. That we're not so bad, we're not so bad, that we have potential for greatness. But we can't, but the only way we're going to achieve that greatness is not by pushing ourselves away and taking some parts of us and saying this doesn't exist. You can also say it in terms of like a Baal Tshuva. Baal Tshuva, on the one hand, they don't need to run away. They shouldn't run away from who they were. Meaning, you shouldn't pretend to someone else now. I'm just an neshama. I'm not a good. Let's not talk about the good. It's bad. It's a hassle. It's hard. It's reverse. It's masay. It's a burden of Torah mitzvahs. I have to forget that person. What we're saying is ultimately that is what shapes you who you are. Of course, if you did the wrong thing, you don't have to walk around publicizing all the wrong things you've done, or the things that you wish you would have done better. That's not the discussion. Right? But to realize, sometimes you see a Baal Tshuva and they're like, they don't want to pretend life didn't exist before they were from. And at the end of the day, that's what brought you here. That's the process. And if Hashem's in charge and Hashem is here, so then Hashem decided this is how your life is meant to be until this point. And b'hashgacha pratis. And what can we learn from those experiences? And I can say for myself, I also, I didn't always have the straight and narrow path. And I went to public school and I wasn't also frum. But out of all my friends that went to Jewish schools, I did fine, and Baruch Hashem, not just that, those experiences helped shape me who I am, and I'm thankful for them. Do I want tests in life? We all want tests in life, but the things that come to us, that's what helps shape who we are. And we got to learn to grapple with this and to take this, to realize this, and say, how can I help this in my service to my Avodas Hashem? How can that be part of it? Someone to be an ignored part of it, someone to walk around and publicizing it, but we can say, if it happened to me, Hashem wanted it to happen to me, and why do I want it to happen to me? What can I learn from this? How can this help me? And I think this is a very important point. When this is what we're realizing, that Sarah, the body, when Mashiach comes, is going to be the best. That, like we say here, that the neshama is going to receive chayes from the body. But now we don't have it this way. But what we're realizing is, even though we don't have it this way, we're coming close to Mashiach. We're coming close to Mashiach time. We start to realize that how my body is playing its vital, integral role in serving Hashem. That's the question. We look at our body and our physicality and the time we have to eat. Eating is a simple example. But anything, the way we talk, the way we do things, we look at it as like, I have to take care of my body, or I have to do all these physical things. Or let's say I have to clean the dishes, I have to do all these things. I have to take care of the house. I wish I was back in seminary just learn and do chitas and just schmooze and fring. I have to do all these things. I have to go to work. I know someone have to take care of my house, make the house look clean, and cook Shabbos food. In the seminary, they cook it for us, and these things are hard. We all have to deal with them. But we have to realize that this is not a separation from Hashem. This is not taking us away from Hashem. This is not the guf versus the neshama in a negative sense, but this is part and parcel of Olam Hazeh, and this is and transforming and realizing how I can make this the holy thing. It doesn't mean you shouldn't get a cleaning lady. If you can afford it, or you should do, making life easier. But the things you got to do, it's not a negative thing, it's a positive thing, and help us. And it's all part of the Aveda. And ultimately, the physicality and the way we deal with the physicality, when Mashiach comes, that's where it's going to be at. So we already can taste a little bit of it. And so we should recognize this dynamic and take the neshama to help the guf. The neshama should help the body. Meaning we shouldn't say, I want to, like when I daven, let me just daven and run away from life. Let me just learn and I'll run away from reality. Life's going crazy and kids are going wild. I'm just gonna daven. I'm gonna learn something and just run away. Now, of course, you have to know everyone's situation. I'm not saying a klal for anything, but realize we shouldn't run away. Davening and learning are not meant to be a running away from the physicality. We're meant to infuse it into our physicality. Or like the Rebbe said, finish it off. Like the Rebbe said, there's a famous letter Chayei talked about it. Women complained in Kfar Chabad that the husband would go Shabbos, I think Shabbos Barachim, or every Shabbos, they would ring all day, no one come home. So the Rebbe said that basically in short, the Rebbe said they should come home and bring home the Farin. I think it's a very important point. The Rebbe saying it could be, you could use it in this marshal. I'm not saying this was reality, but I'm just saying to look at it in that way. You could say that they're looking at it like this. And Shul is all holy and spiritual and it's fun and it's good, it's kind of shama. Going back home and I have to, you come home, I have to take care of my kids and I have to clean up and I have to do all these things. That's the guf. I don't want to do with that. So I was saying, no, the point is take the neshama, the farang, and bring it to the home, to the guf, and inspire the guf, inspire the kids and the family. Because ultimately that's where it's at. And hopefully we should all see it, or we already see it, and if we don't see it, we should work to see it. That where life is not in the seminary and in the yeshiva or in the kollel, in the kollel year, or it's in the life before you have kids, but it's when you have kids and it's the struggle and it's figuring it out. And it's not easy. Well, hopefully it is, but it's not always necessarily that so. Well, let's walk with it and let's do it and let's figure it out and let's enjoy it and realize that when we enjoy it, it's a whole different experience. Tomorrow we'll continue the next. That was the first part of the Sikha, the first Sikha, from Tafshin Yud Aleph, and then tomorrow we're going to go to the next action. It's going to base it off what we learned, but it's a different part. We continue tomorrow.